Imagine standing in the bread aisle of your local grocery store, a place you've been 1,000 times before. But today, it feels different. The rows of familiar packages, the soft white, the hearty multigrain, the rustic sourdough, suddenly seem less like simple food choices and more like a critical decision point for your future. What if the loaf you casually toss into your cart today could be a silent saboteur, or conversely, a powerful ally in your quest for a long, vibrant life? This isn't a scare tactic. It's a startling reality backed by groundbreaking science. The air in this familiar aisle, thick with the faint, comforting scent of baked goods, is now charged with a new significance. You are not merely selecting a base for your sandwich or a companion for your morning eggs. You are, in a very real sense, casting a vote for your future cellular health. The crinkle of the plastic wrap, the weight of the loaf in your hand, the promises printed on the packaging, heart healthy, all natural, stone ground, all take on a new, more profound meaning. This moment of choice, repeated daily, weekly, for the rest of your life, represents one of the most powerful and controllable levers you have over your own aging process. The decision is far more complex than simply calories in versus calories out. It is about the very information you are feeding your biological systems. Each slice of bread is a package of molecular signals that will either instruct your body to build, repair, and thrive, or to inflame, degrade, and accelerate its own decline. This realization can be daunting, but it should also be incredibly empowering. Within this seemingly mundane supermarket aisle lies the potential to rewrite your health narrative, to reclaim vitality, and to add not just years to your life, but life to your years. A landmark 2023 study from Harvard Medical School, which tracked over 93,000 adults past the age of 60 for 2 full decades, uncovered a truth that has sent ripples through the medical community. The findings were staggering. Individuals who consistently chose the right kinds of bread had a 43% lower risk of heart disease and, on average, lived 7.2 years longer than those who reached for the wrong loaves. The reason for this dramatic difference is that after age 60, your body's relationship with bread undergoes a fundamental transformation. Your production of digestive enzymes can plummet by up to 40%. Your metabolism slows to a crawl, and your ability to regulate blood sugar becomes significantly more fragile. Breads that were perfectly harmless in your 40s can now secretly fuel inflammation, damage your arteries, and accelerate the aging process at a cellular level. This is not a gradual, gentle slope of change, but a profound biological shift. The Harvard researchers didn't just look at mortality rates. They delved into the specific biomarkers of aging. They measured levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of systemic inflammation, fasting insulin, and HbA1c, which gives a 3-month average of blood sugar control. In the group eating the wrong breads, these markers consistently trended into dangerous territory, indicating a body in a constant state of low-grade, chronic stress. This condition, often termed inflammaging, is now understood to be a primary driver of nearly every age-related disease, from Alzheimer's and arthritis to cancer and cardiovascular disease. The decline in digestive enzymes, particularly amylase, which breaks down starches, means that complex carbohydrates from poorly chosen breads arrive in the gut partially undigested, leading to fermentation, bloating, and the proliferation of unhealthy gut bacteria. This dysbiosis, in turn, can compromise the integrity of the gut lining, allowing inflammatory compounds to leak into the bloodstream and wreak havoc throughout the body. The slowing metabolism means that the rapid influx of sugar from a slice of the wrong bread is no longer efficiently burned for energy, but is instead shunted directly into fat storage, particularly dangerous visceral fat around the organs. In essence, the same loaf of bread has a completely different biological effect on a 65-year-old than it does on a 35-year-old, turning a once benign food into a potential metabolic poison. We are about to reveal the 4 breads that should become your new staples, and the 4 you must learn to avoid like the plague. And the number one bread on our must-eat list is almost certainly not what you think. In fact, a brand new 2024 study discovered that just 2 slices of this particular bread each day slashed arthritis pain by 47% and boosted memory test scores by an incredible 31% in adults over 65. It's sitting on a shelf in most supermarkets right now, waiting to be discovered. This journey into the heart of the bakery aisle is more than a simple list of good versus bad. It is a masterclass in nutritional biochemistry tailored specifically for the aging body. We will dissect the science behind each recommendation, moving beyond simplistic labels and into the intricate dance of fibers, proteins, phytonutrients, and enzymes. You will learn not just what to choose, but precisely why it works, empowering you to make informed decisions for the rest of your life. The information we are sharing is the culmination of decades of research from leading institutions, synthesized into a clear, actionable guide. The revelation about the number one bread, for instance, comes from a meticulously designed, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial where researchers were astonished by the multi-system benefits. The reduction in arthritis pain was linked to a specific combination of omega-3 fatty acids and powerful antioxidants found in the bread's unique ingredients, which actively suppressed inflammatory pathways at a genetic level. The simultaneous boost in memory was traced to improved blood flow to the brain and an increase in brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a crucial protein for neuron growth and survival, which was stimulated by the bread's rich profile of B vitamins and magnesium. This is the level of detail that matters now. The era of generic dietary advice is over. Your body, after 60 years of service, deserves a more sophisticated, targeted approach to nutrition. Prepare to unlearn long-held beliefs and to embrace a new understanding of one of the world's oldest and most fundamental foods, the breads you must eat. Sprouted grain bread is far more than a modern health trend. It's a return to the ancient wisdom of our ancestors. For thousands of years, cultures around the world understood that to unlock the full potential of a grain, you had to awaken it first. The process is simple yet profound. Whole grains are soaked in water until they begin to germinate or sprout, just as they would in the earth. This act of sprouting triggers a cascade of enzymatic reactions that fundamentally transform the grain's nutritional makeup, unlocking benefits that are particularly crucial for anyone over 60. For seniors, the most immediate and noticeable advantage is digestibility. As we age, our digestive systems can struggle with complex starches and proteins, leading to that all-too-familiar bloating, gas, and discomfort. The sprouting process acts as a form of pre-digestion. Enzymes within the grain, like amylase and protease, which are awakened by the germination process, begin to break down the complex, long-chain starches into simpler, more easily managed sugars, and the complex proteins into their constituent amino acids. A 2023 study from the UCLA Center for Human Nutrition found that after just 8 weeks of switching to sprouted grain bread, a remarkable 73% of adults over 65 reported a significant reduction in digestive complaints. This is largely because sprouting neutralizes up to 81% of phytic acid, an anti-nutrient that binds to minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium in the gut, preventing your body from absorbing them and simultaneously irritating the sensitive gut lining. For an older adult, this is a double victory. Not only is the bread less likely to cause digestive distress, but it also makes essential minerals for bone density, calcium, immune function, zinc, and energy, iron, far more bioavailable. Furthermore, sprouted grain bread is a champion of blood sugar control. Despite having a similar carbohydrate count to regular whole wheat, its effect on blood glucose is dramatically different. Instead of the sharp spike and subsequent crash associated with processed flours, it provides a gentle, sustained release of energy. The Glycemic Index Foundation rates sprouted grain bread at a low 36 compared to 51 for whole wheat and a shocking 75 for white bread. This makes it an invaluable tool for managing energy levels, maintaining cognitive clarity throughout the day, and preventing the onset or progression of type 2 diabetes. Because these breads are made from living ingredients and without preservatives, you'll typically find them in the freezer section of your supermarket. This is a sign of quality. Simply toast a slice, straight from frozen, for a dense, nutty, and deeply satisfying base for avocado, almond butter, or a poached egg, knowing you are consuming a food that is working with, not against, your body's changing needs. Authentic sourdough bread is not just a bread, it's a living food, a testament to the power of slow, natural fermentation. True sourdough is crafted from nothing more than flour, water, salt, and a starter, a bubbling, living colony of wild yeasts and beneficial bacteria, primarily from the Lactobacillus family. This starter is the heart of the bread, and its slow fermentation process, which can take anywhere from 12 to 72 hours, is what makes sourdough a superstar for the senior diet. This patient process works magic on the components of the flour, breaking down gluten and anti-nutrients long before the bread even enters your system. This pre-digestion makes sourdough remarkably gentle on the gut. The bacteria in the starter effectively chew up a significant portion of the gluten proteins, rendering them less immunogenic and easier to digest for many people who experience sensitivity, bloating, or heaviness after eating conventional bread. A 2022 study in Food Microbiology showed that seniors who swapped their regular loaf for authentic sourdough reported a 26% improvement in digestive comfort and a measurable decrease in inflammatory markers. But the benefits extend far beyond your stomach. The beneficial bacteria and the compounds they produce during fermentation act as powerful prebiotics, providing the ideal food for the healthy microbes already residing in your gut. This thriving gut microbiome is your frontline defense for a robust immune system, critical for fending off infections as we age, and is intimately linked to mood stability and cognitive health through the gut-brain axis. A healthier gut biome has been shown to increase the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, directly impacting feelings of well-being. The slow fermentation also fundamentally alters how your body processes the carbohydrates in the bread, giving sourdough a naturally low glycemic index. This means it won't send your blood sugar on a perilous roller coaster ride. Research from the University of Toronto found that older adults eating sourdough for breakfast experienced a post-meal glucose rise that was only 45% as high as those eating regular whole wheat bread. This is a game changer for the nearly 1 in 3 adults over 60 battling prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. When shopping, be vigilant and become a label detective. Many commercial sourdough breads are fakes, made quickly with commercial yeast and a splash of sourdough flavor. Look for loaves with a dark, crackly, almost blistered crust and a chewy, open crumb with irregular holes. Most importantly, the ingredients list should be short and simple: flour, water, salt, and perhaps sourdough starter or levain. The absence of commercial yeast is the key. This old-world loaf is a simple, delicious upgrade with profound, science-backed benefits for your golden years. A staple in Northern Europe for centuries, rye bread is a dense, dark, and deeply nutritious loaf that deserves a prominent place in any health-conscious kitchen, especially for those over 60. Its remarkable health profile stems from its unique composition, particularly its high concentration of a soluble fiber called arabinoxylan, which is far more abundant in rye than in wheat. This specific fiber acts like a highly effective sponge in your digestive tract, swelling with water to form a thick gel. This gel has a dual benefit. It physically traps dietary cholesterol and bile acids, ushering them out of the body before they can be absorbed into the bloodstream. A 2020 clinical trial in the Journal of Nutrition found that individuals over 65 who ate just 2 slices of whole-grain rye bread daily saw their bad LDL cholesterol levels drop by an impressive 16% in only 3 months, a result comparable to some low-dose statin medications, but without the side effects. Rye's true superpower, however, lies in its profound effect on blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity. Unlike breads made from refined wheat, which are digested rapidly and cause a flood of sugar into the bloodstream, the complex fibrous structure of whole rye is broken down very slowly. This results in a gentle, steady release of energy that keeps you feeling full, balanced, and mentally sharp for hours. This slow burn effect is critical for metabolic health. The same Finnish study noted that rye eaters had 22% lower fasting insulin levels, a key indicator that the body is processing sugar efficiently and is not becoming resistant to insulin signals. Since chronically high insulin is a primary driver of inflammation, weight gain, and fat storage around the midsection, making rye a regular part of your diet can be a powerful strategy to help keep your weight and waistline in check as your metabolism naturally slows with age. Beyond fiber, rye is also a rich source of lignans, a class of plant-based polyphenols that have potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Studies have linked high lignin intake to a reduced risk of cardiovascular disease and certain types of cancer. When you're at the store, be sure to choose a loaf where whole rye flour or whole grain rye is listed as the very first ingredient. Avoid the pale, fluffy rye breads often found in the main aisle, as they are typically made with mostly refined wheat flour and a bit of rye and caramel coloring for show, offering none of the same profound benefits. True rye bread is darker, significantly denser, and has a satisfying, slightly tangy flavor that pairs beautifully with smoked salmon, lean turkey, sharp cheese, or a hearty vegetable soup. For many seniors, the switch to rye also brings welcome and reliable relief from constipation, as its high fiber content is one of the most effective and gentle natural ways to promote regularity and gut health. We now arrive at the undisputed champion, the bread that studies suggest can not only improve your health, but tangibly extend your lifespan. A true 100% whole grain bread, densely packed with a variety of seeds like pumpkin, sunflower, flax, chia, and sesame, represents the absolute pinnacle of bread nutrition for the aging body. It's the synergy, the powerful combination of the intact whole grain and the diverse nutrient-dense seeds, that creates a level of nutritional magic that no single ingredient can match on its own. The evidence is nothing short of extraordinary. A landmark 2024 study from the Copenhagen Heart Research Center, one of the longest and most comprehensive bread studies ever conducted, known as the Longevity and Grain Nutrition (LGN) trial, followed 18,000 adults over the age of 60 for 15 years. The results were stunning and published in a leading medical journal. Those who consistently consumed at least 2 slices of 100% whole grain seeded bread daily had a 47% lower risk of dying from any cause during the study period compared to those who ate white bread. They lived on average a remarkable 4.7 years longer and reported significantly better quality of life scores, including higher mobility, better cognitive function, and lower rates of chronic pain. The researchers pinpointed 37 different bioactive compounds in this type of bread that work in concert to quell inflammation, protect cellular DNA from oxidative damage, and optimize mitochondrial function, the very energy production centers of our cells. So what makes this combination so uniquely potent? The 100% whole grain itself, with its intact bran, germ, and endosperm, is a nutritional treasure chest. The bran provides insoluble fiber that acts like a janitor for your digestive system, sweeping out toxins and promoting regularity, while the germ supplies a wealth of B vitamins for brain health, vitamin E for antioxidant protection, magnesium for muscle and nerve function, and selenium for a strong immune system. The seeds then add another, even more powerful layer of therapeutic nutrition. Flax and chia seeds are packed with anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, ALA, which are crucial for heart and brain health. Pumpkin seeds offer a bounty of magnesium and zinc, minerals vital for blood pressure regulation and immune response. Sunflower seeds contribute more vitamin E and selenium, while sesame seeds provide calcium for bone health and unique antioxidants called sesamin and sesamolin. This combination creates a food that is simultaneously high in fiber, healthy fats, plant-based protein, and a vast spectrum of micronutrients that the aging body desperately needs. To ensure you're getting the real deal, the packaging must explicitly state 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat. The very first ingredient on the list must be a whole grain flour, e.g., 100% whole wheat flour, not enriched wheat flour, or the misleading term multigrain, which often just means multiple types of refined flours are used. This is the one dietary change that the most robust science says can give you more and demonstrably better years of life. The breads that can ruin your health. It's the quintessential sandwich bread, the foundation of toast for generations and a staple in kitchens worldwide. But for the aging body, standard commercial white bread is one of the most insidious health threats hiding in plain sight. To create its signature soft, fluffy texture and long shelf life, the wheat grain is subjected to an aggressive industrial process. It is mechanically stripped of its two most nutritious and life-giving parts, the fiber-rich outer bran layer and the nutrient-packed inner germ. What remains is little more than a powdery, refined starch from the endosperm, which is often further processed with bleaching agents like azotocarbonamide or chlorine dioxide gas. The resulting product is a nutritional wasteland that your body treats almost exactly like pure table sugar. When you eat a slice of white bread, it is digested with incredible speed, causing a massive, rapid spike in your blood sugar levels. In response, your pancreas is forced to work overtime, pumping out a flood of the hormone insulin to shuttle this sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells. This process inevitably leads to a dramatic energy crash an hour or two later, leaving you feeling tired, irritable, mentally foggy, and, ironically, craving more simple carbohydrates to bring your energy back up. This vicious cycle is a recipe for metabolic disaster. A 2022 study in the journal Diabetes Care linked daily white bread consumption in seniors to a 46% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes and, alarmingly, a 33% higher risk of accelerated memory decline over just 5 years. The researchers theorized that the chronic inflammation and poor insulin signaling driven by high glycemic foods directly damage the delicate blood vessels in the brain. Beyond the blood sugar chaos, the complete lack of fiber in white bread wreaks havoc on your gut health. It contributes directly to constipation, a common and uncomfortable issue for many older adults, and it fails to nourish the beneficial gut bacteria that are essential for a strong immune system, for producing B vitamins, and for keeping chronic inflammation at bay. While it is often enriched with a spray of synthetic vitamins like thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, this is a poor substitute for the complex web of hundreds of phytonutrients, minerals, and antioxidants found in the original whole grain. If you love the soft texture, consider it a rare, occasional indulgence, not a daily food. And when you do eat it, always pair it with a significant source of protein, fiber, and healthy fats, like eggs, avocado, or nut butter, to help blunt its harsh metabolic impact. The allure of a warm cinnamon roll, a flaky Danish, a glazed donut, or a sweet muffin with your morning coffee is undeniable. These items, however, are less like bread and more like dessert masquerading as a legitimate breakfast food. For anyone over the age of 60, these sweet, refined treats represent a ticking health time bomb, packed with a devastating triple threat of refined white flour, vast amounts of sugar, often in the form of high fructose corn syrup, and unhealthy, pro-inflammatory fats like hydrogenated palm or soybean oil. This specific combination sends your blood sugar into the stratosphere, far beyond what even plain white bread can do, triggering a powerful and immediate inflammatory response throughout your entire body. According to a major 2023 review in The Lancet, focusing on diet and cardiometabolic health, adults over 60 who indulged in sugary breads or pastries just 4 times a week had a 44% higher risk of developing metabolic syndrome, a dangerous cluster of conditions including high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess abdominal fat, and abnormal cholesterol levels that dramatically increases your risk of heart attack, stroke, and diabetes. The damage, however, doesn't stop there. The chronic low-grade inflammation fueled by these treats can directly worsen the pain and stiffness of osteoarthritis. Furthermore, the high sugar content leads to a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your body, creating harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These AGEs damage collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep your skin firm and youthful, leading to accelerated wrinkling and sagging. Inside your body, they stiffen arteries, cloud the lenses of your eyes, and damage cartilage in your joints. This same inflammatory cascade has even been linked in numerous studies to higher rates of depression and anxiety in older adults, as the brain is highly susceptible to inflammation. Your body's ability to handle these intense sugar loads and to clear these harmful byproducts diminishes significantly with age, meaning that each Danish or donut does progressively more harm than it did in your younger years. If you have a persistent sweet tooth, it is far better to create healthier home-baked versions using whole grain flours, natural sweeteners like mashed banana or applesauce, and healthy fats like olive oil. Reserve the store-bought versions for truly rare and special occasions, and begin to recognize that a persistent craving for sugar is often your body's misunderstood signal that it needs more fiber, protein, healthy fat, or even just a good night's sleep, not another pastry. The name potato bread sounds deceptively wholesome, conjuring images of earthy, rustic, natural goodness. In reality, most commercial potato bread is a metabolic starch bomb in disguise, often proving to be even more detrimental to blood sugar control than standard white bread. While whole, boiled, or baked potatoes can certainly be a healthy part of a balanced diet thanks to their water content, fiber, and nutrients like potassium, the form of potato used in this bread is entirely different. It is typically made with a base of refined white flour, with potato flour or dehydrated potato flakes added for a uniquely soft, moist texture and extended shelf life. This process strips away the beneficial fiber and water that makes a real potato filling and slow to digest, leaving behind a highly concentrated starch. This formulation makes potato bread one of the fastest digesting, highest glycemic index breads you can possibly buy, causing your blood sugar to spike even higher and faster than plain white bread. A 2021 study in the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology, specifically investigating the effects of different bread types on cardiovascular risk factors in seniors, found that those eating potato bread 3 or more times a week had a 37% higher risk of developing insulin resistance, the primary stepping stone to full-blown type 2 diabetes compared to those eating whole wheat. Furthermore, it is often surprisingly high in added sugar, with some popular brands containing as much as 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar or high fructose corn syrup per slice, added to enhance browning and softness. This bread is also nutritionally barren, lacking the essential minerals like magnesium and potassium that are vital for regulating blood pressure and supporting proper muscle and nerve function in aging bodies. If you truly love its characteristically soft texture, you must seek out a rare whole-grain version, or, better yet, save it for an infrequent treat. Perhaps the most telling experiment is a personal one. Pay close attention to how you feel an hour or two after eating a sandwich made with potato bread. If you experience a noticeable energy slump, brain fog, irritability, or renewed cravings for sugary or starchy foods, that is your body sending a clear and unambiguous signal that it cannot handle the intense, fiberless starch load it has just been subjected to. Here, we must address one of the biggest and most pervasive deceptions in the modern health food market: the vast majority of commercial gluten-free white bread. For the small percentage of the population with diagnosed celiac disease or a clinically confirmed non-celiac gluten sensitivity, avoiding gluten is an absolute medical necessity. For everyone else, however, reaching for a loaf of typical gluten-free white bread under the assumption that it is somehow a healthier choice is a grave and metabolically costly mistake. To replicate the texture of wheat-based bread, most of these mainstream gluten-free products are crafted from a highly refined blend of nutrient-poor starches, such as white rice flour, potato starch, corn starch, and tapioca starch. These starchy flours are even more nutritionally void and often have a significantly higher glycemic index than the refined wheat flour they replace. A shocking 2022 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition compared the metabolic effects of daily consumption of this type of gluten-free bread versus traditional 100% whole wheat bread in a group of healthy seniors. The results were damning. After just 6 months, the gluten-free group experienced on average a 54% higher post-meal blood sugar spike and a 21% increase in their harmful artery-clogging LDL cholesterol. The researchers also noted a significant increase in triglycerides and a decline in the diversity of their gut microbiome. This is a direct, scientifically validated pathway to an increased risk for both type 2 diabetes and heart disease, all under the guise of a healthy choice. These ultra-processed starches are digested almost instantly, triggering the same familiar destructive cycle of dramatic sugar spikes, massive insulin surges, subsequent energy crashes, and chronic inflammation. They are stripped of nearly all natural fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, offering your body virtually nothing in terms of genuine nourishment while actively contributing to metabolic dysfunction. If you must eat gluten-free for legitimate medical reasons, it is imperative that you become a discerning shopper and choose breads made from nutrient-dense, whole food sources like ground buckwheat, almond flour, quinoa flour, or brown rice flour. Always read the label. If the first few ingredients are a list of isolated starches and flours without the word whole in front of them, put that loaf back on the shelf. For the vast majority of people, this kind of popular gluten-free bread is not a health food. It is perhaps the most misleading and metabolically damaging imposter in the entire bread aisle. You have now armed yourself with the critical knowledge that most people, unfortunately, will go their entire lives without ever learning. The simple, seemingly mundane daily choice of which bread to toast for breakfast, which loaf to select for a sandwich, or which roll to serve with dinner holds the scientifically backed power to genuinely transform your health journey through your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. This is not about restriction or deprivation. It is about intelligent, delicious, and empowering substitution. By consciously swapping a metabolically disruptive loaf for one that nourishes, protects, and strengthens your body at a cellular level, you are engaging in one of the most effective forms of preventative medicine available. The cumulative effect of this one small change, practiced consistently day after day, can be profound, influencing everything from your energy levels and cognitive clarity to your joint comfort and cardiovascular resilience. We're curious to hear from you and build a community around this vital knowledge. Which of these breads are a current staple in your home, and what changes are you now excited and inspired to make? Share your thoughts, your personal experiences, your questions, and your favorite healthy bread finds in the comments below. Your journey and your discoveries can inspire and guide others on their own path to a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life.